I would like to officially welcome you to our Getting Started with Slido session. And with you today is myself and my colleague Kristen. We are both from Slido. I'm from the customer education team, and Kristen is from the customer care team. So let's have a look at our agenda for today. First of all, we'll tell you a little bit about our wonderful app. Then I will show you a live demo on how you can set everything up and use Slido. Then we'll look at our integrations. So how you can use Slido seamlessly alongside Microsoft, WebEx, and Google applications. And finally, we have our Q&A session where we will answer any questions that you have. You can put those into the Slido with the code SIMPLE, and we'll be able to take those questions at the end. So let's get started. Over to you, Kristen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. So let's just jump right into this Slido and our features and what it's all about. So first, what is Slido? Slido is the industry-leading interaction platform for all types of meetings, and we help give a voice using polls, or help give everyone a voice by using polls, surveys, quizzes, and Q&As. And this instant feedback can help build transparency and trust within your workplace. So for our first bit of feedback, we would like to know, how familiar are you with Slido? So maybe you don't know about it at all. You've never heard about it. Let's see. So we have someone who's used it as a participant. Awesome. We've got a Slido boss in the house. Nice. Okay, we've used it for a meeting before. Amazing. So thank you guys so much for the feedback. And let's move on to the next one. So now we're going to talk about our polls and the different poll types that we offer. So there are 6 types of polls. We have our multiple choice poll, our open text, rating, word cloud, and our ranking poll. And you can use a combination of these 5 polls to create a survey as well. So first up, we're going to talk about our multiple choice poll. And this poll can help you discover your participants' opinions or preferences. This is a really great poll to use to vote on which direction you might want to take your session or your meeting. Our open text poll is great for getting direct feedback from your participants, and this allows your participants to type in their own words in response to your question. So we actually have a question for you. So why do you think Slido could be important to you? Give you some time to get your thoughts and type it in. Running training sessions, it's a good one. What do we got? Real-time feedback, that's a good one as well. Engagement for my team calls. Awesome. These are all really good reasons to consider using Slido. Definitely something to keep in mind when you want to use Slido. Moving along to our next poll type, we have the rating poll. So this one is pretty straightforward. It's using stars or emojis. You can ask your participants to rate your meeting. This can also be used to understand where your participants stand on a particular issue or a topic that is discussed as well. So we would like to ask you, how excited are you about using Slido? So our scale here is our emojis. So we have the heart eyes. We want everyone hopefully to have heart eyes by the end of this session. I can see a straight face, so hopefully we'll get you to heart eyes by the end once you know a little bit more about Slido and how to use it. So thank you guys for that feedback. Then we have our word cloud. These are always a crowd favorite, and these work best with one-word submission. So the more the word is put in, the larger it gets on the screen, and this creates a nice scatter of words that make up your word cloud. Then we have the ranking poll, and this help identifies your participants' preferences. They're allowed to sort the options to rank them by what's most important to them. So next we have our quizzes. This is a Slido and a crowd favorite, I feel like. Everybody, I think, enjoys the quiz in some sense, at least. So let's talk through what you can do with the quizzes. Quizzes are a really great way to get your audience involved, but it's also a really good way to recap content or help lighten the mood. So if you have a really heavy topic or just a lot of content, you can use quizzes to kind of break it up a little bit. So at Slido, we use it as a way to keep up with our product knowledge. So our team does quizzes to make sure we're all kind of on the same page. So with that in mind, we're actually going to do a quick quiz ourselves just so you guys can see how this all works. So if we take a second to join our quiz. Nice, I get to see a couple people getting in there. Amazing. Exciting times. So we'll give it just a few minutes. I know we have a couple of people here. It's exciting to see all these names in here. All right, so let's go to the first question. How long is the average attention span? Do you think it's 4 to 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, 10 to 20 seconds, or 10 to 15 minutes? So I can see in the top right corner, we have our counter. You guys can see. This gives you an idea if you need to wait for people to answer. So we've got 14 out of 14. We should be good to go. So the results are in. Most of you think it's 5 to 7 minutes, so maybe you know your stuff here. The correct answer is actually 5 to 7 minutes. Let's show that real quick. There we go. So the 5 to 7 minutes is the correct answer. So this is a really great reason why you want to actually use Slido throughout your presentation. You want to keep those participants really engaged and kind of direct their attention to your presentation. So the next question is, when was Slido founded? So this is a fun question because it comes from our trivia database and our trivia question database. So you can actually use these for your own trivia quizzes. It's a lot of fun. And Andrew, I think, is going to demo that for us. So let's see. When do you think Nintendo was founded? December 1894, September 1889, October 1980, or March 1973? Let's see. Awesome. So everybody's answers are in. Let's see what the correct answer or what our results are first. So the results, most of you think it's either 1973 or 1889. The correct answer is actually September 23rd, 1889. So fun fact, Nintendo actually started with playing cards back in the 1800s. So I always think that's super interesting and just a fun little fact to know. So congratulations to Adrian. You're our number one spot today. So how this leaderboard works here with our quizzes is it's going to show you in order of who actually got the information correct or answered correctly. And then it's going to vote or sort them by the fastest response. So you can see Adrian and Kristen both got 2 out of 2, but because Adrian was a little bit faster, he's ranked number 1 at the top. All right, so let's move to our Q&A. All right, so with our Q&A, this is a chance for everyone to speak up and ask questions, whether they're on mute or too shy to speak up. Attendees can submit their own questions anonymously or with their names. They're able to upvote questions that they're interested in. Oh, that's a hard one to say, interested in. And if you've set up Slido beforehand, you can actually send out your direct link and gather questions in advance of your live session as well if you want to kind of crowdsource those questions ahead of time. Definitely recommend if you want to have something to start off with your Q&A. Then we have our analytics. So our analytics allow you to see topics which resonate the most with your audience. It allows you to kind of dig deeper into those insights that you've collected throughout your meeting. So that is the last little bit for this little section about Slido. And Andrew is now going to take us through our live demo.
Perfect. Thank you, Kristen. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our demo. I'm excited to show you the ropes and show you the basics on Slido. So the first thing you'll need to do is go to slido.com and you can log in or you can sign up for a Slido account if you haven't got one already. You can sign up with WebEx or Google if that's easier, or just the normal way. After that, you can set up a Slido by clicking the Create Slido button. If you already have an account and you've maybe been in there before and you've created some Slidos, then you can just click that new Slido button and that will give you a fresh session. So once that's done, you can actually schedule the Slido and add your start date and the end date. So that actually just means the time that participants can join it live and interact, but you can set everything up and prepare the Slido before those live dates, so don't worry. And you can give your Slido an appropriate name as well. And that will be done, and you'll see a screen that looks like this, where you can actually set up the polls and get your Q&A ready. But I'm going to use the Slido that we've already been seeing on this call that you've been interacting with and voting on the polls. And I'll just turn off my video so it doesn't obstruct the view. All right, with my camera off, you have a good view of this Slido screen. We're showing you behind the scenes of this Slido that you've been using today as a participant. So if the polls here in the list look familiar, that's because you've already voted on them. So this is our live poll tab that it brings us to first. We'll stay here. I'm going to show you how to create a poll by clicking on this green Create Poll button. We get the drop-down menu with all the different poll types, the quiz, and the survey. So we will go for a ranking poll as we haven't added a ranking into this Slido yet. And yeah, decide what you want to ask. So rank which Slido features you're most excited to try and order, and then put in the options for people to vote for, or in this case, rank in order. So Q&A, polls, quiz, and finally, the analytics. So I'm pretty happy that's set up. There are further options on this side and settings, but it's good to go. I'm going to hit that save button, and lo and behold, it goes into the list of polls right at the bottom there. None of these are active yet until we're ready to do so and hit that play button. As you can see, once you hover over each poll, it's there. But they're not active yet, and I can actually edit any of these polls or the quiz by clicking on this little three-dot menu, and I'll show you the functionality of that. So let's actually go into our quiz. You might have thought we were finished with the quiz. We had our leaderboard and everything, but I'm going to go back into it, edit it, and add some more questions in a thrilling twist. So we click on that three dot. The first option there is edit. Click on that, and it brings us into our quiz. Those are the questions you've already seen, you've already played on during the quiz when Kristen ran it. But let's actually add another question. So we do that by scrolling down and clicking on the plus to add another question. And I have it pre-prepared, of course, asking which famous summit is featured in this Slido branding. What's Slido branding, you may ask? Well, that will become clear very soon. We put in our options, Black Mountain and El Capitan. And over here, I can add an image just on the right-hand side, either through pixels or I can add a GIF on the next option through Giphy. But in this case, I'm going to show you how you can upload from your computer. And look at that. It's even titled El Capitan. Bit of a spoiler. So the image is in the question. I can mark the right answer, which of course we know is El Capitan. And I'm going to add another question. And this is how we got the Nintendo question, by using the random quiz question generator, which is the little dice icon just to the right of that question. So we can click on that random quiz question. Do you see? And it's going to give us one. Let's have a look. Who is the creator of the manga series One Piece? Great. And we've got our answers there. The correct one is marked, as you can see. I would have no idea. I'm going to save that, and we'll get back to that quiz very soon. So I've edited it, went back there, and I'm happy. And we'll play it live again very shortly. So staying within our live polls tab, next thing we want to do is show you how you can actually create a survey. And we're actually going to create the survey that you will be rating and giving your feedback for this session. So we'll show you how we do it, and then later on you'll see it live. So you can give your survey a title. We'll just say, give us your feedback, please. And a survey is just a combination of multiple poll types. So we'll start with the rating poll, and we can keep it stars rather than emojis like we had earlier. How useful was this webinar for you? And out of the 5 stars. Then we can add another question. So we'll keep it a multiple choice, putting in that question first, and then we'll add in our options. So I copy and paste these options over, and there we go. And then we'll add another question. The last one can be in open text. The good old reliable, if you have any other comments, thoughts or comments for us. So that's our survey with 3 polls. You can add as many as you like, but I'm going to save that. And there we go. It's added to our list. Good to go. So moving on with our demo, and I see actually there's already some questions coming in, but just before we go from the live polls, I want to show you the templates, which you can access beside the create poll button. And it gives you some inspiration, some fully made polls already with team building, training, brainstorming. You can even look for your previous polls. There's that survey we just created. How useful was this webinar for you? If we had a new Slido and we wanted to put that in again, we could do it from here. Now let's go over to our audience Q&A tab. Thank you for the questions that you've put in so far. Currently, the moderation feature in Slido is on, so these questions are in the for review window that you can see on the left here. So only I as a Slido host can actually see these questions currently and decide whether I want to approve or dismiss them. So hovering over each one, I can click on that tick to approve, or if I want to dismiss it, of course, it would be the X. And then they go into the live window. And now you can actually see as a participant that those questions are live. And you can upvote those, making them the most popular and going to the top. And this is the participant mode that you can actually test with within the Slido admin view. So if I click on that, it gives me this phone and I can see all the questions and I can actually type a question myself if I wanted to test things. So just to show you this moderation functionality, you can see I can type this question as a pretend participant. Maybe it's something a bit negative. I can be anonymous or with my name. I'll stay anonymous for this. And the question has been sent. It's in the for review window. Oh, we have another one. What did you have for lunch today? Good one, but not exactly relevant to the session. So both of these, I can dismiss them. And there we go. And the dismiss questions don't show in that live window and they don't show to the participants. They go straight into the archive over here with the little X so you can see that they're dismissed. And we have previous questions from other sessions that we've had within our archive. You don't lose any of them. They all stay within the archive in your Slido the whole time. So that's pretty handy to have those questions. We have our live ones that will be showing up for the participants in the attendee mode, and it will show for them in our present mode. And we'll show you how you can access the present mode very shortly with that little green button. But going back to our polls, I want to show you with this participant mode how we can actually test our polls and make sure things are working well. So obviously with this activate poll button, we can make the poll live. I'll take this participant mode and pop it over there and click play. And you should actually see this as you're in the Slido event. And I can see it popping up on my phone here. I can rank the options in order and then hit send. And there we go. The results are showing. So as soon as I vote, I can see the results. And they will also be showing on the present mode screen. Again, we'll get to that very soon. So getting rid of that, you can see we can just stop the poll when we need to. The 3-dot menu is there. If you need to edit anything, you can click that. And you can see there's lots of different options. We can actually reset the results as well. So if you were just testing and putting in some votes, you can reset it so it goes back to 0, but the poll is still there for your real run or your real Slido lifetime. Now let's go back to our quiz. we're hitting play. We're going to be sneaky and not hit the start quiz button, but go to question 3, as you've all already voted on the first 2 questions. And this is when we're going to go to our present mode, as I've been teasing. So we click on this green button, and it gives us the new tab where Slido present mode is showing. And look at that lovely branded Slido photo with the green matching the green background. Don't you just love it? So here we are with the rest of our quiz, and you probably remember the answer because you saw me prepare it. But get your votes in. Which famous summit is featured in this Slido branding? And showing you this little control panel at the bottom, while we do this, I can actually control things from here. So once I've decided there's enough votes, if I click this arrow to go next, it shows the results and it shows the correct answer. I click it again to get to this next question. I mean, I don't even remember what the correct answer was. You saw it on screen, so maybe you did. So again, I can see the voting coming in on the top right-hand side, 9 out of 15. And once I'm happy with the amount of votes, I can again click to show the results. There we go, pressure's on, people. Bit of a mixed spread here. Click it again on the arrow. Okay, and I'm not going to attempt to say that name, but the last option was correct. Perfect. And we click next. Our leaderboard, is Adrian still on top? He is. Nice. Congratulations, Adrian, and to everyone else on the top 5. And the hardest question shows at the bottom as well. It's kind of blocked by the control panel at the minute, though, but you can get rid of that. So using this panel, you can see all the polls that are created within Slido. I can toggle to any one of those and hit play. The ranking is now active again. We can go back to our Q&A by clicking the Show Q&A button. And yeah, I can grab these questions with that little double arrow to highlight it and make it stick to the top. Question from Jason Paul. Thanks for the question. What's the best way to get in touch if I need any help with Slido? That would be through support@slido.com. Kristen is on our customer care team and they do an amazing job and they can help you with pretty much anything. So there you go. Once you've answered that question, then hover over it and you can mark it as answered. You can see the control panel has disappeared on the bottom as well. Oh, some questions coming in. This is good. So we go back to our admin view. There's a couple of other things I still want to show you. And keep those questions coming in for us. We'll address them at the end. So when we go to our analytics, which is the third tab, you can see the amount of participants and the engagement that you had. You can also download the export from this green button to an Excel spreadsheet. It's pretty handy. And this is the share button where you can actually share the link to Slido with your participants. So you can grab that, it copies to the clipboard. You can also download the QR code that shows in the present mode if you want people to scan that or maybe print it out. And the last thing is inviting collaborators to help you with managing Slido so they can help you set it up. They can also help you run things while it's live. It's very useful. So once you click on that, it brings you into the settings. And this is where you can add the collaborators. So putting their email in, and I'm in there a couple of times already, go figure. Lots of my Slido colleagues are in there. But add the email, hit invite, they'll get the email and they can accept it and then they'll have access to that Slido once they log into their account. A couple of other things in the settings. The features are here. You can change anything within the Q&A and the polls. I'll let you have a look at that at your own time. And yeah, you can customize your Slido with custom branding or logos. We have our present mode in the nice green. You can change it to any color and you can customize your participant mode also. So that's it for the live demo of Slido. My camera's back on. Hello, everyone. I hope that was useful. I know it's a lot of information, but if you have any questions, put them into Slido. We'll be able to answer them at the end of this. I'm passing it back to Kristen for the integration section.
Thank you, Andrew. Lovely demo there. So let's take a look at our Slido integrations. So first up is our PowerPoint integration. With the PowerPoint integration, you can add polls, quizzes, and Q&A directly into your presentation without having to switch between applications. Simply download and install the integration from our website, and Slido will appear in your PowerPoint menu. Once you've added your Slido polls, your Q&A, and your quizzes, all you need to do is present, and your polls will activate automatically once you get to them in your presentation. So it's a really seamless way to present with Slido. We love it. Next up is Google Slides. So this is very similar to our PowerPoint. All we have to do with this one is you just need to download our Google Slides add-on. And for the best experience, we recommend installing our Chrome extension as well. And this works similarly to PowerPoint in that you just put those polls directly into your presentation. So with WebEx, our integration with WebEx allows the hosts to moderate Q&A and activate polls directly within the meeting window. Participants will be able to also interact with those polls from the sidebar without ever needing to leave WebEx. Teams is also similar in that same aspect where you can activate your polls and moderate your Q&A directly from within your meeting window. Once you add the integration, you can either schedule a meeting with Slido set up in advance, or you can add Slido during your meeting at any time. So that actually covers it for our integrations. So what now? What do you guys want? What do we do now that you know all this stuff? So first thing we recommend, if you haven't already, go to slido.com, sign up for an account, and just test it out. Just get a feel for how Slido is and how it works and what you can do with it. It's a lot of fun to just test out with our free account. So I'm going to pass it back to Andrew for our feedback and Q&A from here.
Yes, so our feedback survey is running. This is the one that I set up during the demo, and now you should see it. So please take some time to give us some feedback. We can already see that there's some coming in, some nice ratings there. Thank you so much. So we won't show the rest of the results, but we'll keep this survey active and you can let us know. The feedback will really help us improve. So let's move on to our Q&A session and see if we can't answer the questions that you have about Slido. So a couple of anonymous ones on the top here. Let's highlight this one. Is there a limit for the event dates? How long can an event last? So the way that it works is if you have the free Slido plan or the one-time paid plan, it can run for 7 days maximum. But if you have the annual paid plan, it will, obviously it's annual, you'll have it for the year, so you can run your Slido dates for as long a period as you want within that year. So good question, and hope that answer cleared it up. Then we have, does the quiz always require a moderator? Okay, so I guess I know what you mean here in terms of hosting the quiz and having to click through each question, which I was showing you during this. Yeah, you do always need to have a moderator. The quiz doesn't work asynchronously. It doesn't really work when it's not live. You need that person in the Slido admin who is clicking through the questions, showing the votes, showing the answers, and then revealing the leaderboard at the end. So that's not something we have at the minute. Maybe in the future, we'll have that option. Okay, so from Christy, we have a question, and thanks for putting your name there, as well as for your question. Asking, do you typically find more user engagement if you allow attendees to stay anonymous to ask questions? Good one. The short answer is yes. The longer answer, I will tell you that we've done this through experience at all of our Slido all hands and most of our meetings. We give people the option to remain anonymous when asking questions because, first of all, you get a lot more questions. A lot of the time, people don't feel safe enough to actually ask difficult questions and put their name on there. They maybe just don't have that security blanket, or yeah, it's a pretty normal thing. So although it can seem difficult to let people answer questions anonymously and you might be getting some inappropriate things, we would still recommend it. And you can actually control the inappropriate questions and remarks that are coming in with the moderation by approving the ones that are relevant and dismissing ones that are just not for the session. So yeah, we would say engagement is better if you allow the attendees to stay anonymous, for sure. Stanislav, asking what's the best way to learn about the Slido integrations? Please, very polite. Thank you so much. And that would be just on our website. So go to slido.com, and you can find it all from there. We also have our community, which you can find on our website, which has lots of help articles and videos for downloading add-ins and add-ons that you need for the PowerPoint integration, the Google Slides integration, and you can search from there anything you need help with. And that's where you can download them all and install them. Okay, I'm just making sure. I think we have some other questions in the moderation here. So we'll just make sure they're all coming in. We have one more question. Perfect. So from Doug, and he is asking, is there a free version for practice then you can purchase for a short time for a conference? So yes, as I mentioned, you can get Slido for free. You can sign up on our website, uh, totally free. You can make as many Slidos as you want to. They can run within that 7-day period. You won't have as many features as with the paid, but yeah, if you like it and you test it with the free version and you want to get an annual plan or a one-time plan with more expensive features, you can certainly do that after and upgrade your free account to a paid one. So from Daisy, all these names on the questions, thank you so much. If people scan the QR code and they are waiting for a presenter poll, what do they see? Right, I can actually show you what that looks like by using our trusty little participant mode. If they were to scan the QR code on their phone would take them to here. And if there was no poll live at that time, yeah, it would just bring them to the Q&A. So as you can see, we have our questions here. If I were to activate a poll here, this one, it would pop up and take them there automatically. But when no poll is active, it would be the Q&A tab, either with no questions or, as we have in this case, there are some questions. And from Claire, a couple more questions to go. If my conference is taking place in 2 different rooms, different presentations taking place at the same time, can both rooms use Slido to ask different questions? Absolutely, yes. We're actually going to go back to Slido here to show you that in practice. So the way you would do this, if you wanted to maybe use the same Slido session, but split it up into, well, rooms, as you say, is from our multiple rooms feature. So going up to the settings here, and on the first general tab, there it is, multiple rooms. And you can set this up. So automatically we have room 1. I can even call this breakout room 1. I can add a couple here. And yeah, you can title them anything you want. Let's go for power of 3, breakout room 3. Okay, so they're all there. You can save that. And then within your Slido host view, you have the different rooms. Obviously, this is the one we've already set up with all the polls, and it has some Q&A coming in from you guys. But if we go to breakout room 2, there are no polls set up. There's no Q&A yet, as no one has joined. We just created this. Same with breakout room 3. And for the participants, they have the option to choose each room. So it'll kind of look like this when they initially join Slido by entering the code or scanning the QR code, and they'll pick the appropriate room. If you want to have the multiple rooms, but ensure that people are only entering one at a time, maybe your sessions are at different times throughout the day, you can also toggle them off like this. And that way, it means that, yeah, once they enter, they're only in this room. Same way, if we turned off breakout room 1 and 3 and just had 2, they would automatically enter into breakout room 2. So that's where it is from here. I'll just remove these for now for a session and save that. So multiple rooms, pretty cool feature. Okay, and our last couple of questions. An anonymous one here. I saw Slido for PowerPoint is only available on Windows. Is there any chance it might come to Mac one day? Absolutely, yes, it will. We are working on that as we speak. Hopefully this year, 2023, the year of our Lord 2023, we will have a version of Slido for PowerPoint for Mac, and we're all very excited about it. So watch this space. And our last question from Mary. No analytics with free version. Well, actually, you do get analytics with the free version, just like this on our analytics tab. And the only difference is you can't export. So you can't actually download those analytics, but you will see everything within here, no problem. So yeah, thanks everyone for those questions. and for interacting with us today. Uh, that's us. I'll hand it back to Kristen just to get things finished. But cheers for joining us today.
So before you go, we just want to share a couple of resources that we find really useful and that we hope you find useful as well. You can check out our community. So our Slido community has answers to just about anything you can think of. So if you have a question, there's tutorials and troubleshooting things, everything you can just about think of, you'll find there. And then we have our Slido blog. So our blog is really great for giving you some insights or inspiration, maybe some food for thought for your next meeting. You can take a look at kind of different ways people use Slido, or that we might recommend using Slido. So definitely recommend taking a look at those.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Kristen. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. We hope it was helpful. Have a great day.